To vary with height, namely that it gets colder as we go up through the atmosphere in general. But to actually measure how it changes with height, we use what's referred to as a radiosonde. And now we're going to show you a video, and that video is going to be a field trip to the National Weather Service in Gray, Maine, where you'll see how a weather balloon is launched. Around the world, at 00Z and 12Z, every day, weather balloons are sent up to measure the pressure, temperature, humidity, and winds in the atmosphere. We're here in Gray, Maine, at the National Weather Service office with Jim Brown, who's going to take us through the process of launching a weather balloon.
We're here today to do something that the Weather Service performs every evening and also every morning. It's called an upper air observation. We have a lot of information about what's going on at the surface when we're attempting to make a forecast. We also need information about the upper levels of the atmosphere, and the way we do that is we send a box of instruments that contain a thermometer and also a humidity element, a pressure element. And the rest, the barometric pressure, is actually determined by a computer chip on the inside of the instrument. And we also can find out information about the wind direction and speed at different levels of the atmosphere through a software that's in the computer and uses vector analysis to determine the wind direction and speed as the atmosphere, as the radiosonde rises through the atmosphere. We have here a standard 600-gram balloon. And we're going to inflate that balloon via this nozzle, and that's what we're going to use to send this radiosonde into the upper atmosphere. One very important thing you want to note is that I am in no way touching the balloon with my fingers, because oils from the body can deteriorate the balloon and you wouldn't get the radiosonde as high as you otherwise might. It's a very important point. We're going to put it over the length of the nozzle, and we're just going to use a piece of string to tie it off. And now we're going to begin balloon inflation. We generally inflate the balloon to a point where it will lift 1,500 grams of weight, and if you were to put 1,500 grams of weight, the balloon would just hang in the air and go nowhere. Obviously, we're not going to put that much weight on the balloon, but we want that much lift in order to get into the upper levels of the atmosphere. The next step, we're going to tie the balloon off. We're going to take it off the nozzle, and we're going to hook it to a nail down below so we can work with it and tie a parachute to it, and then tie a piece of string to the parachute, and we're going to tie that piece of string to the sonde, and that's how we're going to send the sonde up into the upper atmosphere. We don't want the balloon to flop back and forth and hit up against the side of the door. This is why the door is facing in the direction of the prevailing wind, so that when we run out the door, the balloon is pulled towards the outside rather than in a side-to-side motion. When there might be a thunderstorm in the area, this would be a condition where you would not release the balloon simply because you don't want the sounding to be representative of what's going on inside the thunderstorm. You want it to be representative of what's actually happening in the atmosphere. The radiosonde is a radio transmitter to transmit the information back to an antenna on the ground, and the information that it transmits is information on wind direction and speed, also the temperature at particular levels in the atmosphere, and it has a pressure instrument within the instrument as well, and that is how we determine what height the radiosonde has actually achieved at any one particular time. Well, generally, we release the balloon at either 6 or 7 o'clock, depending upon whether it's Eastern Daylight or Eastern Standard Time. And it takes generally about an hour and a half, perhaps as long as 2 hours, for the balloon to rise to a level somewhere between 17 and 20 miles up. We use the data to put into another coded message, which the computer at the National Weather Service can understand, and that information is transferred via phone line to several different places, but one of the places that it goes to is the National Meteorological Center in Washington, D.C. There are approximately 93 stations in the continental and Alaska and Hawaii in the United States, and there are 105 stations that are either run by the U.S. government or in conjunction with some other government, and around the world there are approximately 300 stations.
I hope you enjoyed our field trip to see a weather balloon launch.